I'm Wendell Staton, Director of Athletics at Georgia College.
And I'm Veronica Womack, and I am the Chief Diversity Officer at Georgia College.
Veronica, one thing I always talk about, I always say that our pocket in the Department of Athletics, I think this is true across the country, I always say we do diversity and inclusion right because that's all we know. And let me tell you what I mean by that. All I care about, and all the teammates care about, number one, I want you to be a good person. That's first and foremost. Number two is I don't. Can you, if you're, let's say you're on a softball team, can you throw a pitch? Can you hit the ball? Can you get a smile? I don't care what you look like, where you're from, what you sound like, anything like that. Can you help us get a run across or whatever? And then it's the same thing on the schoolyard. When we pick teams in the 4th grade, all I want to do is get the best team that I can pick. So I don't care what anybody looks like or sounds like or where they're from or what they believe and all that. So really that's just sort of inherent in athletics. I just kind of wanted to throw that out to start the conversation.
I think that's very, very important. And in terms of diversity and inclusion, athletics has always been one of the areas in higher ed after, the civil rights legislation in particular, where diversity is strong. And the reason for that is what we hope all parts of the university will do, which is look for the ability of the person. And in athletics, it's often more obvious that person's ability. And so I think it's a wonderful example of what could be across the entire campus as well as the nation if people were to just look at the person's ability and not look at those secondary factors of where they're from or what they look like, their ethnicity, their race, and all of that. So the diversity that I see in the Georgia College athletic program is enormous, and it certainly helps us achieve our goals at the university in terms of diversity.
Well, we certainly, geographic diversity, we have people from all over the world that come to play ball and all that kind of stuff. And, I want to drop back, you talked about ability. My own undergraduate experience, we were the first barrier-free campus, built as a barrier-free campus in the country. And so we were in classes and college events and everything all together with folks who maybe were wheelchair bound, things like that. And it really forced me to look at the ability, and that's all you looked at, right? And now when you said ability, because that's again, I go back to the ability to help me win games, the ability to help me do a class. I remember my own. Okay, let me go another step in ability. Well, when I went to a study group in college and I wanted to do pretty well on my school there, I made sure that I found the people that could help me the most, who were a lot smarter than me. I don't care what they look like, sound like, where they're from. I don't care. But can you help me do good on this test tomorrow? That's all I care about. So the ability piece, I'm glad you really mentioned that. That's really the cornerstone of what we're talking about here.
It's the ability, and then all of the skills that go along with diversity that sports provides. So the team building, the teamwork, working in diverse groups, being able to see people, their ability, and how you can put your ability with them to achieve a goal. And I think it definitely prepares student athletes for what they're going to see when they get into the workforce. So if you're on a team, especially sports that require teams, you have to learn to get along with people. You have to get along to hear other people's perspectives, and that is the value of diversity. And so I think having teams where people are coming from all over, they have different cultural backgrounds, you are creating the opportunity for students to be more culturally aware, more culturally competent, and that is the value of college athletics, in my opinion.
I want to share 2 quick stories regarding diversity and inclusion that I think really map this out well in the athletic world. One is when on a team with 15 people or whatever who are from every different background you can imagine, and you're going for one common goal. That's life in general when you're working with a team. But the best part of that in my own experience is getting on that bus, getting on that van, and having conversation with someone who has completely different views than I do, complete religion, maybe from a different country, who knows? But that, and then when you have 15 of those conversations going on, that's really special. And that was one of the greatest parts of my own personal experience. The other thing, one of the landmark decisions that the NCAA has started is the Senior Woman Administrator. And one of the greatest parts of that is it makes sure that every university has a female administrator. And so I've got a different viewpoint now that I'm always listening to every day. And maybe 30 years ago that wasn't the case. So I think that was a really wonderful thing that the NCAA started, and certainly it's thriving here at Georgia College.
Diversity is very important at Georgia College and all institutions of higher education. The mission of institutions of higher education is to prepare a citizenry to continue the traditions and the culture of this country. And we take very seriously here at Georgia College preparing leaders to go out into a global society and be successful. As society continues to become increasingly more diverse, it's important for Georgia College to prepare our students to be culturally aware and culturally competent. And I see our student athletes receiving national recognition for their leadership. They work in the community, they work on campus, and they are really building a cohort of leaders that will be able to go out into the world and do great things. So I'm very excited about how we look at diversity at Georgia College and how we operationalize diversity at Georgia College.